Welcome, dear friends, to a peaceful journey through the haunting and rich lore of Fallout. In this world, where the echoes of a forgotten civilization linger in the air like a distant memory, we will wander through the stories of survival, lost hopes, and the quiet resilience of those who remain. The Fallout universe, born from the ashes of a nuclear apocalypse, is a realm of fractured dreams and shattered landscapes, yet it is also one of deep human connection, where every individual's story weaves into the larger fabric of a broken world. Tonight, we will explore the origins of the vaults, the fate of the wasteland's survivors, and the factions that rise amidst the ruin, each one carrying its own piece of history and mystery. As we step into this world, let the quiet whispers of the past guide us gently into the night. Now take a soft, deep breath and let the weight of the day slip away. Feel your muscles relax, your heart steady, as the world outside fades into the distance. The calm of the night surrounds you, and in this stillness, we begin our journey into the stories of Fallout. And if you enjoy drifting through stories like this, you're welcome to subscribe and softly tell me where you're listening from tonight. Let us begin as the wasteland unfolds before us, quiet and unhurried. Fact 1. The vaults, a symbol of humanity's last attempt at survival, were originally constructed with a dual purpose: to shelter survivors from the nuclear catastrophe and to serve as grand social experiments. Vault Tech, the corporation behind their creation, partnered with the United States government to ensure the survival of a select few while exploring human nature in extreme circumstances. However, the vaults were not places of safety as they seemed. Instead, they became laboratories designed to test the resilience of the human spirit and the consequences of isolation, deprivation, and engineered chaos. Over time, the vaults became as much about manipulation as protection, forcing the inhabitants to face unimaginable trials. Fact 2, Vault 101, one of the most iconic vaults in the Fallout series, is perhaps the perfect example of Vault Tech's cruel vision. Unlike many others, Vault 101 was intended to remain closed forever. The inhabitants, unaware of the world outside, were condemned to a life of isolation, never knowing that the rest of humanity had been devastated by the Great War. For generations, Vault 101 became a place of stasis where time moved differently, and the concept of the outside world was nothing more than a distant myth. The vault's inhabitants had no choice but to continue their lives, unaware of the events unfolding beyond their walls. Fact 3. Vault 111, featured prominently in Fallout 4, is another tragic example of human experimentation. This vault was designed as a facility for cryogenic stasis, with its residents placed in suspended animation. However, unlike most vaults, the inhabitants of Vault 111 were never told of the true purpose of their fate. Years passed, and the vault lay dormant, its residents trapped in their frozen coffins. The protagonist of Fallout 4 awakens from this long sleep, only to find the world has changed beyond recognition, and the tragedy that unfolds is one of loss and the pursuit of revenge in a desolate new world. Fact 4. The Vault Dweller, the protagonist of the first Fallout game, emerges from Vault 13 to a world that is both alien and familiar. Tasked with finding a new water chip for their vault, the Vault Dweller ventures out into the irradiated wasteland, facing countless dangers along the way. What begins as a simple survival mission soon evolves into a larger journey of discovery, revealing the dark and twisted consequences of the Great War. The Vault Dweller's journey explores the complex themes of sacrifice, morality, and the power of choice in a world that has lost its moral compass. Fact 5, Vault 8 was another example of Vault Tech's odd social experiments. Unlike vaults designed to preserve life, Vault 8's inhabitants were subjected to a series of trials meant to break down their sense of community and force them into a survivalist mentality. As one of the few vaults that was not abandoned or failed in its mission, Vault 8 remained intact long enough to create a thriving society, only to fall victim to the same brutal forces that consumed the rest of the world. The vault's survivors, initially isolated and distrustful of one another, were left to navigate the harsh realities of the wasteland with no clear leadership and no true unity. This vault exemplifies the harshness of Vault Tech's experiments. While some vaults were designed for prolonged isolation, Vault 8's trials tested the very core of humanity's need for cooperation and compassion in the face of adversity. Fact 6. The Great War was not a slow burn conflict, but a sudden catastrophic event that wiped out nearly all of civilization in a matter of hours. Nuclear missiles were launched across the globe, and the bombs dropped, leaving only destruction in their wake. The survivors, huddled in vaults or hiding in the ruins of cities, faced the immediate aftermath of a world rendered uninhabitable by radiation and nuclear fallout. The war, which lasted less than 2 hours, marked the end of the world as humanity knew it and the beginning of a new era. A harsh, unforgiving time where survival was the only goal. Fact 7. The vaults were intended to serve as sanctuaries for humanity's survivors, but their experiments had far-reaching consequences. Vault 87, for example, became a key location for the creation of supermutants, as Vault Tech's experiments with the forced evolutionary virus, FAV, unleashed horrors upon its inhabitants. The vault's purpose was to test the effects of radiation and FIV on human subjects, but the results were disastrous. Those who were exposed to the virus were transformed into giant mindless mutants, losing their humanity in the process. Vault 87's story serves as a reminder of how scientific experimentation, when done without morality or restraint, can lead to irreversible consequences that shape entire societies. Fact 8. Vault 13, the setting for the first Fallout game, is one of the most famous vaults in the series. It was designed to be a long-term shelter for its inhabitants, and its residents were intended to remain inside until the world outside was safe again. However, Vault 13's story takes a dark turn when the vault's water chip, a critical component for maintaining the water supply, breaks down. The Vault Dweller is sent to the surface to retrieve a replacement, only to find a world devastated by nuclear war and filled with danger. Vault 13's story highlights the harsh reality of survival in the wasteland, where even the most well-intentioned plans can be derailed by circumstances beyond anyone's control. Fact 9. Vault 112, found in Fallout 3, was another vault where the true purpose was far more sinister than it appeared. Unlike most vaults, which were designed to test the endurance of human beings under extreme conditions, Vault 112 was a place where the inhabitants were subjected to a simulated reality. The residents were placed in a virtual reality system that allowed them to live out their lives in a simulated world while their physical bodies remained in stasis. This experiment, which was meant to simulate the perfect life, ultimately left the inhabitants trapped in a false reality, unable to break free from their virtual prison. Vault 112's story explores the dangers of artificial utopias and the psychological toll that living in a fabricated world can take on individuals. Fact 10: Vault 22, located in the Mojave Wasteland, was another vault that became a center for experimentation. Unlike other vaults, Vault 22's inhabitants were subjected to biological experiments aimed at understanding plant life and agriculture in the post apocalyptic world. The vault was designed to explore the possibilities of using genetically modified plants to create sustainable food sources. However, the experiments went horribly wrong, and the vault's inhabitants became infected with a parasitic fungus that transformed them into aggressive, mutated creatures. The story of Vault 22 serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of tampering with nature and the unforeseen consequences of scientific experimentation gone awry. Fact 11: The story of the Vault Dweller, the protagonist of Fallout, a post nuclear role playing game, is one that begins in a vault, but whose fate takes them beyond the confines of that sterile, underground world. Cast out from Vault 13, the Vault Dweller is thrust into a chaotic and barren wasteland, tasked with finding a replacement water chip for the vault's water supply. This journey, seemingly simple, soon unravels into a larger tale of survival, discovery, and the haunting consequences of the Great War. Through this character's journey, players witness the complexities of moral choice, where every action has the potential to shape the future of the wasteland. Fact 12: In Fallout 2, the Chosen One is born from the ashes of Vault 13, carrying the weight of their ancestors' legacy. As the protagonist, the Chosen One is given the task of retrieving the G-Sosek Garden of Eden creation kit, a device that has the potential to reshape the wasteland into a place of hope and renewal. This journey is fraught with challenges, including encounters with the enigmatic and often hostile forces like the Enclave, who seek to impose their vision of the world. The Chosen One's story is one of growth, both personal and societal, as they navigate the moral gray areas of survival and leadership. Fact 13: Survival in the wasteland is not solely defined by strength, but by adaptability. The people of the wasteland, from scavengers to traders, have learned to thrive in a world where every day is a struggle. These survivors have built communities from the rubble, forging bonds with one another in the most unlikely of circumstances. Yet, even within these fragile communities, there remains a stark reality. Trust is hard to come by, and betrayal is often a stone's throw away. The survivors of the wasteland are shaped by their environment, tough, resilient, and ever vigilant, yet with a shared longing for a return to some semblance of peace. Fact 14: The children of the wasteland know only hardship and survival, but even they find moments of joy amidst the desolation. In the scattered settlements across the wasteland, children play in the ruins of the old world, using pieces of wreckage as toys, creating games from the remnants of a lost civilization. These children, though marked by the horrors of the past, retain the ability to dream, to hope, and to imagine a future where the scars of the Great War may one day fade. Their resilience reflects the enduring spirit of humanity, the part of us that refuses to be extinguished, even in the harshest of conditions. Fact 15: New Vegas, a city built on the foundation of greed and corruption, stands as one of the last bastions of civilization in the wasteland. It is a place of high-stakes gambling, ambition, and political intrigue where the powerful play their games, and the vulnerable are left to fend for themselves. But amid the chaos, there is a strange beauty to New Vegas, a city where for a moment it feels as if civilization could rise again. The courier, the protagonist of Fallout, New Vegas, is caught between the factions vying for control of the city, but their choices will determine not just the fate of New Vegas, but the future of the entire wasteland. Fact 16. In the heart of the wasteland lies the pit, a grim and harsh reminder of the lengths to which some will go to survive. The pit is a city built on the backs of enslaved workers who mine steel for the people in power. The story of the pit and its enslaved residents is one of oppression, hope, and the struggle for freedom. The protagonist of Fallout 3. The pit enters this broken world to uncover the truth behind its dark workings and perhaps to ignite the spark of rebellion. Yet, even in a place defined by suffering, moments of humanity and compassion emerge. Fact 17. The Enclave, an organization born from the remnants of the pre war government, is a constant force in the wasteland. They see themselves as the rightful rulers of the world, believing that only they are fit to rebuild the nation in their own image. The Enclave's ruthless pursuit of power leads them to engage in horrific experiments, manipulate the survivors of the wasteland, and destroy anyone who stands in their way. Their quest for control is not just about domination, it is about their belief that the old world order must be restored, no matter the cost to those who still live in the ruins. Fact 18. Supermutants are not born of choice, but of tragedy. The forced evolutionary virus, FEV, was intended to create stronger, more resilient humans, but instead, it created something else entirely. The victims of FEV were transformed into towering, mindless creatures with no memory of their past lives. They are trapped between two worlds, once human, now something monstrous, struggling with their identity in a world that fears and hates them. The super mutant story is a reflection of the cost of experimentation, a reminder that even the most well-intentioned efforts can lead to monstrous consequences. Fact 19. The Brotherhood of Steel, an organization born of idealism and ambition, has always been driven by a singular focus: the preservation of technology. Their obsession with the past and the artifacts left behind by the old world often puts them at odds with others in the wasteland. Yet despite their flaws, the Brotherhood plays a pivotal role in the survival of humanity, protecting the remnants of the old world's technology from falling into the wrong hands. Their focus on technological superiority has allowed them to survive and thrive, but it has also made them one of the most contentious factions in the wasteland, torn between the need to protect and the desire to control. Fact 20. The wasteland is filled with more than just human survivors. It is home to a multitude of mutated creatures, each shaped by the harsh conditions and radiation that define the new world. From the terrifying death claws to the more benign radroaches, these creatures are the result of the Great War's aftermath. Yet even in their twisted forms, these creatures represent the adaptability of life. They have learned to survive in a world that offers little mercy, a testament to nature's unyielding will to endure, no matter how harsh the environment. Fact 21. The wasteland, although seemingly a place of lawlessness and decay, is anything but empty of influence. Across its desolate stretches, powerful factions rise and fall, each with its own vision for the future of what remains of humanity. The New California Republic, NCR, for example, is an emerging power seeking to restore some semblance of order in the wasteland. Their efforts are admirable as they strive to establish a government based on democratic ideals, bringing together the scattered remnants of the old world into a new society. However, their approach is not without flaws. As they spread their influence, their bureaucratic nature often leads to corruption, and their attempts to rebuild are constantly challenged by the chaos that rules the wasteland. Fact 22. In stark contrast to the NCR, the Legion, led by Caesar, is a brutal and merciless faction that seeks to conquer and subjugate. The Legion's methods are grounded in fear and discipline, promoting a strict, militaristic society that values strength above all. Their power is built on slavery, with entire communities subjugated under Caesar's iron rule. The Legion's vision of the future is one of order, but it is a harsh, unforgiving order, one that strips away freedom in favor of control. Their influence spreads like a shadow, casting a long, dark reach across the wasteland. The very existence of the Legion is a reminder that not all who seek to rebuild the world do so with compassion. Fact 23. The Brotherhood of Steel, while focused on technology, is not immune to the power struggles of the wasteland. They often find themselves at odds with other factions, including the NCR and the Legion. Their obsession with preserving pre-war technology is both a strength and a vulnerability. The Brotherhood sees itself as the guardian of the old world's technological marvels, but its rigid structure and refusal to adapt to the changing world often leave it out of touch with the needs of the people it aims to protect. The Brotherhood's constant push for control over technology sometimes leads to their isolation from other factions and their inability to form lasting alliances. Fact 24. One of the most intriguing factions in the Fallout universe is the followers of the Apocalypse. These peaceful healers, scientists, and philosophers are dedicated to the betterment of humanity. Unlike the NCR, which seeks to control and expand, or the Legion, which dominates through fear, the followers seek to provide knowledge, health care, and social services to the people of the wasteland. They believe that by helping others, they can slowly reverse the damage caused by the Great War and its aftermath. Though small and often ignored, the followers' efforts are a quiet but persistent challenge to the wasteland's cycle of violence and domination. Fact 25. The Boomers, a faction of survivors who hoard powerful pre-war technology, particularly aircraft and weapons, are known for their isolationism. Residing in Nellis Air Force Base, they are an enigmatic group that values their technological superiority above all else. Initially seen as a threat due to their military power, the Boomers are ultimately a reflection of the wasteland's fractured nature. They are people shaped by isolation, distrustful of outsiders, and fiercely protective of their resources. Their story is one of caution and pride as they balance their desire for safety with the lure of the larger world beyond their walls. Fact 26. The Enclave, a faction that emerges from the remnants of the United States government, represents a more dangerous, authoritarian vision for the future of the wasteland. They believe themselves to be the rightful heirs to the old world's government, claiming to be the last true remnants of the U.S. The Enclave's obsession with purity drives their brutal actions, including their attempts to wipe out any remnants of the old world's population that they deem unworthy of survival. With advanced technology at their disposal, they are a formidable force, seeking to restore a world that only they can control, regardless of the cost to innocent lives. Fact 27. The Children of Adam, a cult that reveres radiation as a divine force, are one of the more peculiar factions in the wasteland. They believe that the Great War was a divine event, sent by their god, Adam, to cleanse the world and purify its people. To the children of Adam, radiation is not something to fear, but something to embrace. They see themselves as the chosen few, destined to guide the wasteland into a new era of spiritual enlightenment. Their followers often dwell in places of extreme radiation, finding solace in the very force that destroyed the old world, believing it holds the key to their salvation. Fact 28. The wasteland is a place where morality is often ambiguous, and every faction's vision of the future is shaped by its leaders' ideologies. The struggle for power, resources, and control is a constant theme in the Fallout universe, with every faction seeking to impose its version of order onto the chaos. But amidst these power struggles, there are always individuals who rise above the conflict: heroes, scavengers, and wanderers who carve their own path through the wasteland. These individuals often serve as the last hope for those caught in the crossfire, offering a glimmer of hope in a world that seems determined to tear itself apart. Fact 29. One such individual is the Lone Wanderer, the protagonist of Fallout 3, whose journey is one of both personal and societal discovery. After leaving Vault 101, the Lone Wanderer faces the wasteland's dangers, encountering both familiar and strange faces. The Wanderer's story is one of redemption as they search for their father, uncovering secrets along the way that could alter the course of the wasteland's future. The Lone Wanderer's tale is one of deep reflection on family, sacrifice, and the power of choice in shaping the future. Their actions carry weight, and their decisions ripple through the lives of others. Fact 30. In Fallout, New Vegas, the courier's journey is a tale of choices, alliances, and betrayals. As the courier moves through the wasteland, they find themselves at the crossroads of several factions, each with its own vision for the future of the Mojave. The courier's story is one of self-discovery as they navigate a world where every decision is fraught with consequence. The courier must decide whether to align with the NCR, the Legion, or pursue their own path, all while unraveling the mystery behind their near-fatal delivery. Their story is a reflection of the power of autonomy in a world that constantly tries to impose control. Fact 31. One of the most fascinating elements of the Fallout universe is the presence of the mysterious vaults, each designed with its own unique purpose. Vault 87, for example, is infamous for its horrifying experiments involving the forced evolutionary virus, FAV. Located in the capital wasteland, Vault 87 was the site where FAV was tested on the inhabitants, turning them into super mutants. The Vault's dark history is a chilling reminder of how the desire to control human evolution resulted in grotesque mutations and a loss of humanity. Vault 87's experiments not only shaped the landscape, but also created the very creatures that terrorize the wasteland today. Fact 32. The mysterious figure known as the Master, the leader of the super mutants in the Fallout universe, is a central character in the lore of Vault 87 and its horrific legacy. The Master's goal was to create a new world, one where the survival of the fittest prevailed and the weak were cast aside. His vision, built on the twisted use of FIV, was to create an army of super mutants who would dominate the wasteland. However, the Master's utopia was built on a foundation of violence and control, and ultimately, it crumbled under the weight of its own brutality. His story serves as a reflection of the dangers of unchecked power. Fact 33. The wasteland is not just filled with humans and mutants, it is also a haven for creatures that defy the laws of nature. One of the most notorious of these is the Deathclaw, a monstrous mutated predator that haunts the deserts and forests of the wasteland. These terrifying creatures, once part of a military experiment, are known for their immense strength, razor-sharp claws, and terrifying speed. Deathclaws serve as a constant reminder that in the wasteland, survival is a constant struggle. The Deathclaw's origins, born from the same experimentation that led to the creation of super mutants, highlight the dangers of tampering with nature in the pursuit of power. Fact 34. The concept of the GECK, Garden of Eden Creation Kit, is one of the most significant pieces of technology in the Fallout series. The GE6 is a tool capable of restoring the Earth to its pre-war condition, allowing for the terraforming of entire regions and the rebirth of ecosystems. However, the GE6 is not just a symbol of hope, it is also a coveted object of power. Many factions, from the NCR to the Enclave, seek it for their own purposes. In Fallout 2, the Chosen One's journey centers around the discovery of the GE-Seeks and its potential to reshape the wasteland's future. Fact 35. The Mojave Wasteland, the setting for Fallout, New Vegas, is home to one of the most enigmatic locations in the entire Fallout universe, the Hoover Dam. Once a monumental engineering feat that provided power to the southwestern United States, the Hoover Dam now serves as a critical point of contention between the various factions vying for control of the region. In the New Vegas storyline, the dam becomes the focal point for the Courier, whose choices will determine who controls the vital resource of power. The Hoover Dam symbolizes both the grandeur of the pre-war world and the harsh reality of the post-apocalyptic future. Fact 36. The Brotherhood of Steel's quest for technology is not just about preservation, it is also about control. The Brotherhood has long been a faction defined by its desire to possess and protect advanced technology, even if it means withholding it from others. This belief is rooted in the idea that technology, in the wrong hands, could destroy what little remains of humanity. However, their obsession with maintaining technological superiority often puts them at odds with other factions. The Brotherhood's reluctance to share knowledge and its belief in technological elitism make it both a protector and a potential oppressor in the wasteland. Fact 37. The wasteland is home to more than just survivalists and scavengers. It also harbors groups dedicated to preserving the knowledge of the old world. The Followers of the Apocalypse, a group focused on learning, healing, and spreading knowledge, have become one of the most noble factions in the wasteland. Their goal is to heal the broken world through education, medicine, and social services. Though small in number, the followers represent a quiet resistance to the wasteland's chaos, striving to bring some form of peace and order to a world that has been torn apart by war and radiation. Their message is one of hope and restoration. Fact 38. In Fallout 4, the story of the sole survivor is one of personal loss and the search for redemption. Awakened from cryogenic stasis 200 years after the Great War, the sole survivor finds the world irreparably changed and learns that their loved ones have been lost to the ravages of time. The quest to find their son, Sean, drives the sole survivor through a devastated Boston, where they encounter a variety of factions, including the Brotherhood of Steel, the Institute, and the Railroad. The sole survivor's journey is one of self discovery, as they must choose between loyalty, family, and the uncertain future of the Commonwealth. Fact 39. The Institute, a secretive and highly advanced faction in Fallout 4, represents the pursuit of knowledge and progress at any cost. Operating in the shadows, the Institute's goal is to advance technology to the point where humanity can transcend its biological limitations. Through the creation of synths, artificial beings designed to resemble humans, the Institute seeks to control the future of the wasteland. However, their methods raise ethical concerns, and their belief that they know what's best for humanity often leads to conflict with other factions, including the Railroad, who seek to free the synths from the Institute's control. Fact 40. One of the most profound and emotional aspects of the Fallout series is the exploration of memory and identity. In Fallout 4, the sole survivor's quest is driven by the desire to recover lost memories and uncover the truth behind their son's disappearance. This theme of memory, loss, and the search for meaning in a shattered world is central to the Fallout universe. As the sole survivor uncovers the truth about their past and the fractured nature of the wasteland, they are forced to confront the harsh reality that the world they once knew is gone, and only they can shape the future. Fact 41. In the vast and treacherous expanse of the wasteland, it's not just human survivors and mutated animals that make their home. There is a wide variety of strange and dangerous creatures, each shaped by the ravages of nuclear war and radiation. One such creature is the mirelurk, a terrifying crustacean-like mutant found throughout the wasteland. These creatures, once simple sea creatures, were mutated into aggressive and deadly predators after the Great War. Their tough, armored exoskeletons and sharp pincers make them formidable foes, often emerging from swampy areas where they have adapted to their harsh new environment, ready to ambush anything that crosses their path. Fact 42. Deathclaws, perhaps the most iconic and terrifying creatures in the Fallout universe, were originally created by the pre-war government as part of a military experiment. These monstrous, lizard-like predators are a product of forced genetic manipulation using FEV. With their incredible strength, sharp claws, and unrelenting aggression, Deathclaws quickly became apex predators in the wasteland. In the world of Fallout, Deathclaws represent the darker side of human experimentation. Their creation was an attempt to make a better soldier, but the result was an uncontrollable monster, a symbol of how the desire for power and control can lead to disastrous consequences. Fact 43. One of the most mysterious creatures in the Fallout series is the Yao Guai, a terrifying bear-like creature that roams the wasteland. Originally native to the mountains of China, the Yao Guai was brought to America by the pre-war government in an effort to preserve various species. The fallout from the Great War, however, transformed these creatures into savage, mutated predators. Their thick fur and immense strength make them a force to be reckoned with, and their natural habitat, dense forests and rural areas, makes them a constant threat to travelers and survivors. Despite their aggressive nature, some still find beauty in their strength and resilience. Fact 44. The rad scorpion, another infamous creature in the Fallout universe, is a product of the wasteland's harsh radiation. These giant mutated scorpions are known for their lethal stingers and toxic venom, which can incapacitate or kill their prey within moments. They are often found in desert and rocky environments, where their camouflage allows them to blend into the surroundings and ambush unsuspecting travelers. Rad scorpions are feared for their speed, aggression, and resilience, making them one of the most dangerous creatures to encounter in the wasteland. The sheer size and predatory nature of these creatures make them a deadly adversary to anyone unlucky enough to cross their path. Fact 45. While the wasteland is filled with terrifying creatures, not all mutations are born of violence. One such example is the Brahmin, a mutated version of the common cow. These two-headed beasts are one of the few domesticated animals that continue to roam the wasteland, providing essential resources for survivors such as milk, meat, and leather. Though initially a symbol of the wasteland's fall, the Brahmin has become a symbol of survival and adaptation. They serve as an important part of the economy for many settlements, providing sustenance and goods in a world where traditional farming is no longer possible. Fact 46. The radroach, a small but deadly insect, is one of the most common mutated creatures found in the wasteland. Once a simple roach, the radroach has become a constant nuisance and a harbinger of radiation. These creatures are known for their resilience and their ability to thrive in the harshest of environments, making them one of the most persistent creatures in the post-apocalyptic world. Though they pose little threat individually, radroaches are often found in swarms, overwhelming their prey with sheer numbers. Their presence in the wasteland is a reminder that even the smallest and most insignificant creatures can adapt and survive in a world turned upside down. Fact 47. The Cazador, one of the most dangerous and aggressive creatures in the Fallout universe, is a mutated species of wasp. These deadly insects, which are native to the Mojave Wasteland, are known for their venomous stings and relentless hunting tactics. Cazadors are particularly feared for their speed and agility, which make them difficult to avoid or fight. Their poison, which can paralyze or kill their prey, makes them one of the most terrifying creatures to encounter in the Mojave. The Cazador serves as a warning of how even the most seemingly harmless creatures, like wasps, can evolve into deadly predators in a world transformed by radiation. Fact 48. The Night Stalker is another mutated creature that stalks the wasteland's darkest corners. These creatures, which resemble a terrifying mix between a coyote and a reptilian predator, are known for their stealth and aggression. They can blend into the environment, using the cover of darkness to hunt their prey. Night Stalkers are often found in the Mojave, where their ability to camouflage makes them a constant threat to the unwary. Their intelligence and cunning make them more than just mindless predators. They are opportunistic hunters, capable of working in groups to bring down larger prey. Fact 49. The Mothman, a creature shrouded in mystery and myth, is a central figure in Fallout 76. This enigmatic being, with glowing red eyes and large moth-like wings, is said to haunt the Appalachian region. The Mothman's true nature is unclear, and its appearance is often seen as an omen of impending doom. Many survivors claim to have seen the creature before disastrous events, lending it an air of superstition and fear. Whether a mutated creature or something more supernatural, The Mothman represents the unknown horrors that lurk in the corners of the wasteland, beyond the understanding of even the most seasoned survivors. Fact 50. Perhaps the strangest and most unsettling of the wasteland's creatures are the feral ghouls. These are the remnants of humans who were exposed to massive doses of radiation and over time became monstrous zombie like creatures. The radiation left them disfigured and mindless, yet they retain a semblance of their former selves. Feral ghouls wander the wasteland in packs, attacking anything that crosses their path. Their tragic existence reflects the ultimate price of the Great War's devastation, where humanity, in its desperate quest for survival, became something unrecognizable. Feral ghouls are reminders of the terrible toll radiation took on both the environment and the people who once inhabited it. Fact 51. Among the most fascinating remnants of the pre war world are the cities that once thrived with life, technology, and culture. These cities, now reduced to ruins, tell the story of humanity's fall from grace. One such city is Washington, D.C., now a place of twisted remnants, haunted by the echoes of the Great War. The Capitol building, once a beacon of democracy, now lies shattered, its dome a symbol of the broken promises of the past. The monuments, once proud and pristine, are now eroded by time, radiation, and the passage of the years. But still, in the heart of the wasteland, these remnants stand as a testimony to what once was, their beauty and grandeur now overshadowed by decay and ruin. Fact 52. Las Vegas, before the Great War, was a hub of excess and entertainment where the lights never seemed to dim and the sounds of gambling filled the air. In Fallout, New Vegas, this city, now known as the Mojave Wasteland's last glimmer of civilization, is a place of power struggles, ambition, and broken dreams. The iconic "Welcome to Fabulous New Vegas" sign still stands, a fractured monument to the past, welcoming those who dare to enter. Within the walls of New Vegas, a mix of old world charm and ruthless political maneuvering continue to shape the future of the wasteland as factions battle for control over the region's wealth and power. Fact 53. The city of San Francisco, once a vibrant coastal metropolis, is another lost treasure of the pre-war world. In Fallout 2, San Francisco is one of the few cities that has managed to retain some semblance of its former glory. The Shy, a group of Chinese American survivors, have rebuilt much of the city, preserving aspects of their culture while adapting to the new world around them. However, even in this relative oasis of civilization, the harsh reality of the wasteland is never far away. The Shu's continued survival amidst the ruins is a testament to the resilience of humanity in the face of devastation. Fact 54. The ruins of Boston, once a thriving center of culture and learning, have become a haunting landscape in Fallout 4. The city, now known as the Commonwealth, is home to the remnants of the Institute, a secretive group of scientists whose experiments in artificial intelligence and robotics played a key role in shaping the wasteland's future. The Institute, with its advanced technology, serves as both a symbol of hope and a source of fear for the survivors in the Commonwealth. The ruins of Boston, with its broken streets and shattered buildings, are a reminder that even the greatest cities can fall, and that the past is never truly gone. Fact 55, one of the most unique and mysterious locations in the Fallout series, is the city of Vault 87, located in the Capitol Wasteland. This vault, though originally designed as a sanctuary for survivors, became the site of one of the most horrific experiments ever conducted by Vault-Tec. The inhabitants of Vault 87 were subjected to the forced evolutionary virus, FEV, turning them into the monstrous super mutants that now populate the wasteland. The Vault's dark history is a symbol of the twisted nature of humanity's desire to control evolution and the horrors that arise when science is used without ethical consideration. Fact 56. In Fallout, New Vegas, the Hoover Dam stands as a symbol of the old world's technological might. Once a marvel of engineering that provided power to the southwestern United States, the Hoover Dam now serves as a vital resource for the factions vying for control of the Mojave. The dam's power generation capacity makes it a critical point of contention, with the New California Republic, NCR, Caesar's Legion, and even the Courier seeking to control its output. The dam represents the crossroads of past and future, where the energy of the old world still has the power to shape the wasteland's future. Fact 57. The remains of the bison. Steve Hotel in Fallout, New Vegas are a perfect example of how the old world's wonders are now lost in the ruins of the wasteland. This once luxurious hotel, with its towering sign and vibrant lights, now stands as a shadow of its former self. Yet in the desolate remains of the Bison Steve Hotel, there is a strange beauty, a reminder of what once was. The hotel's crumbling walls and faded grandeur serve as a testament to the passing of time, where memories of the past are buried beneath the weight of radiation and decay. 58. One of the most tragic and poignant locations in the Fallout universe is the town of Megaton in Fallout 3. Built around an unexploded atomic bomb, Megaton represents both the resilience and the recklessness of humanity in the post-apocalyptic world. The residents of Megaton live in constant fear of the bomb, but they also have a sense of hope and community. The presence of the bomb, however, serves as a constant reminder that the wasteland is a place where the line between life and death is thin, and survival often depends on the most unlikely of circumstances. Fact 59. The wasteland is filled with scattered, forgotten landmarks, each holding its own story and significance. One such place is the ruined city of Point Lookout, featured in Fallout 3, Point Lookout. This coastal region, once known for its beaches and tourist attractions, has become a place of isolation and danger. The environment is now overrun with mutated creatures, including vicious swamp folk who have made the marshlands their home. Yet even in its decay, Point Lookout holds a strange allure, drawing those who seek to uncover its secrets or simply survive its harsh wilderness. Fact 60. The mysterious and unsettling location known as the Dunwich Building in Fallout 3 is another example of the wasteland's strange and dangerous history. Located in the heart of the capital wasteland, the Dunwich Building is filled with eerie remnants of a dark past. The building itself is a remnant of a pre-war cult, and it is said to be haunted by the spirits of those who once worshipped there. The Dunwich Building is a place where the past refuses to stay buried, and its twisted history continues to haunt those who dare to enter. Fact 61. In the wasteland, technology is both a blessing and a curse. Among the most prized relics of the pre-war world is the power armor, a suit of advanced, mechanically enhanced armor originally designed for military use. In the hands of the Brotherhood of Steel, it becomes a symbol of power and protection. These suits, with their heavy frames and advanced weaponry, allow their wearers to withstand the harshest conditions of the wasteland. The Brotherhood's obsession with this technology stems from their belief that control over such powerful artifacts could determine the future of the wasteland. However, the armor also symbolizes the destructive power of the old world, a reminder that such advanced technology, while powerful, can be used for both good and evil. Fact 62. One of the most fascinating technological discoveries in the Fallout universe is the integration of robotics, particularly the creation of the Mr. Handy series of robots. These advanced machines were once commonplace in pre war society, designed to assist with everyday tasks like cleaning, cooking, and even combat. In the wasteland, however, they are often encountered in various states of disrepair, scavenged and reprogrammed by survivors. Despite their deactivated states, some Mr. Handy robots retain their old programming, serving as both helpful allies and dangerous foes, depending on their environment. The Mr. Handy series represents the dual nature of the wasteland itself, where technology, once a tool for progress, has become both a savior and a threat. Fact 63. The Pip-Boy, a portable personal computer worn on the wrist, is one of the most iconic pieces of technology in the Fallout series. This small green screen device has become synonymous with the post apocalyptic world, serving as the primary tool for navigation, inventory management, and communication. The Pip-Boy's versatility makes it an essential item for surviving in the wasteland, allowing its user to access crucial information from mapping out the terrain to tracking quests and managing resources. In a world where technology is scarce, the Pip-Boy becomes a vital bridge to the lost knowledge of the old world, keeping its wearers connected to the past. Fact 64. The concept of artificial intelligence, AI, is one that plays a critical role in the Fallout universe, especially in the form of the mysterious and powerful machines known as the robots of the old world. These AIs, which include sentient machines like the sentry bots and protectrons, were originally designed to serve mankind but have since become erratic or hostile after the Great War. In some cases, these AIs, left unchecked in the absence of their creators, have developed complex personalities, motivations, and even desires, giving them a strange kind of autonomy. Their existence raises questions about the ethical use of artificial intelligence and whether humanity's reliance on machines will lead to their downfall. Fact 65. The Vault Tech Corporation, responsible for the creation of the vaults, was also a leader in the development of advanced technology in the pre-war world. However, Vault Tech's true purpose was not solely to protect humanity from the ravages of nuclear war. It was also a pioneer in social engineering. Many of the vaults were designed as experiments, testing how various populations would react to extreme conditions. The vault's hidden technological advancements, often locked behind layers of bureaucracy and corporate secrecy, are now part of the wasteland's twisted history. Vault Tech's experiments are a dark reminder of humanity's ability to manipulate and control, even in the name of survival. Fact 66. One of the most unique pieces of technology in the Fallout universe is the fusion-powered vehicle known as the Vertibird. These flying machines, originally developed by the military, were used for troop transport and reconnaissance before the Great War. After the war, they became a rare and valuable resource, sought after by factions like the Brotherhood of Steel and the Enclave. The Vertibirds, with their advanced engines and weapon systems, represent the height of pre-war technological achievement. However, they also symbolize the destructive potential of that technology, as they were originally designed for war and destruction, not peace or healing. Fact 67. In Fallout, New Vegas, one of the most intriguing technological mysteries is the Securitron, a robot designed by the mysterious figure, Robert House. House, a pre war businessman who survived the Great War, used his wealth and influence to develop these robots, which became key to his control over New Vegas. The Securitrons are equipped with heavy weaponry, advanced AI, and are often deployed in large numbers to enforce House's will. They are a perfect example of how pre war technology, designed for security and control, has evolved into a symbol of power in the wasteland, often serving the whims of those who can wield them. Fact 68. The FEV, Forced Evolutionary Virus, initially developed as a means to create stronger, more resilient soldiers, played a significant role in shaping the wasteland's creatures and factions. Its effects were far reaching, not only creating super mutants, but also introducing new forms of life that were previously unimaginable. The mutated creatures of the wasteland, from radroaches to deathclaws, are a direct result of the FEV, as the virus rewrote the genetic code of any creature it infected. This forced evolution is a reminder of how humanity's experiments with biotechnology, driven by the desire for power, often lead to uncontrollable and destructive consequences. Fact 69. Another technological relic from the old world is the Garden of Eden Creation Kit, GECK. This small device, capable of terraforming large areas of the wasteland and creating fertile land for agriculture, has become one of the most sought after objects in the Fallout universe. In Fallout 2, the GECK is a key element in the story, as the protagonist embarks on a quest to find it in hopes of restoring the Earth's ability to sustain life. The GECK symbolizes the potential for rebirth in a world consumed by destruction, offering a glimpse of hope amid the devastation that defines the wasteland. Fact 70. The Enclave, a faction that rises from the ashes of the pre-war government, is obsessed with technology as a means of rebuilding the world in their image. Their pursuit of technological superiority extends beyond the advanced weaponry and power armor they wield. It also includes their development of a deadly biological weapon, the FEV virus, which was originally designed to create a super soldier army. The Enclave's use of technology reflects their desire for control, as they believe they alone have the right to rebuild the world. Their willingness to manipulate and destroy to achieve their goals makes them one of the most dangerous factions in the wasteland. Fact 71. One of the most influential and controversial factions in the Fallout universe is the New California Republic, NCR. The NCR's rise is marked by their efforts to restore the pre-war values of democracy, law, and order in the chaotic wasteland. They seek to rebuild the old world by establishing a republic that can bring stability to the Mojave and beyond. Despite their idealistic goals, the NCR is plagued by corruption, bureaucratic inefficiency, and an overextension of resources. The Republic's inability to maintain control over the territories it occupies leads to internal strife, and its forces often become embroiled in conflicts with other factions like Caesar's Legion. Fact 72. In sharp contrast to the NCR's organized structure and aspirations for a new government, Caesar's Legion represents the dark side of wasteland order. Led by the charismatic and brutal Caesar, whose real name is Joshua Graham, the Legion is an authoritarian regime built on fear, slavery, and conquest. The Legion seeks to conquer the Mojave and bring its lawless territories under Caesar's iron fist. Unlike the NCR, which strives for a democratic society, Caesar's Legion believes in the strength of the individual through brutal discipline, where the strong rule over the weak and their ruthless methods leave destruction in their wake. Fact 73. The Brotherhood of Steel, a faction deeply dedicated to the preservation of technology, represents one of the few remaining groups that are not focused solely on power, but on the protection and control of humanity's greatest technological achievements. The Brotherhood's mission is to safeguard the remnants of the pre war world's technology from falling into the wrong hands. They believe that technology must be used responsibly, and while they are often seen as a force for good, their rigid, isolationist mindset leads them into frequent conflicts with other factions. Their obsession with control over technology often puts them at odds with those who see the future of the wasteland differently. Fact 74. The Enclave, a shadowy organization descended from the remnants of the United States government, is perhaps one of the most sinister factions in the Fallout universe. The Enclave views itself as the rightful heir to the pre-war world, claiming to be the only faction capable of restoring the United States to its former glory. With their advanced technology, including power armor, vertibirds, and a deadly virus, the Enclave seeks to impose its vision of the world upon the wasteland, often with little regard for the lives of the people they encounter. Their belief in their own superiority and their ruthlessness makes them a dangerous enemy to anyone who opposes them. Fact 75. The Railroad is one of the most intriguing factions in the Fallout universe, dedicated to the liberation of the synths, artificially created beings that resemble humans but are often treated as nothing more than machines. The Railroad's mission is to free the synths from the control of the Institute, which sees the synths as tools for its own purposes. The Railroad is a symbol of rebellion against oppression, seeking to fight for the rights of the synths and help them achieve autonomy in a world where they are often treated as second-class citizens. Their journey is one of both morality and activism, and they represent a voice for the oppressed in the wasteland. Fact 76. The Institute, a faction shrouded in mystery, is one of the most technologically advanced groups in the Fallout universe. It is a secretive organization composed of scientists and engineers who have chosen to remain hidden beneath the surface of the Commonwealth. Their focus is on advancing human progress through technology, and they are responsible for creating the synths, artificial beings that mimic humans. The Institute believes that their superior intellect and technological prowess give them the right to reshape the future, often disregarding the consequences of their actions. The conflict between the Institute and other factions, like the Brotherhood of Steel and the Railroad, plays out on the theme of the ethics of artificial life and the cost of playing God. Fact 77. The followers of the Apocalypse represent one of the few factions in the wasteland dedicated to pure humanitarian goals. Unlike other groups that are focused on military power or territorial control, the followers seek to bring healing, education, and social justice to the people of the wasteland. Their mission is one of selflessness, providing medical care and knowledge to those in need without expecting anything in return. Although small and often overshadowed by the larger, more aggressive factions, the followers remain a beacon of hope in the wasteland, showing that even in a world filled with violence, compassion, and cooperation can still thrive. Fact 78. The Khans, a group that originated as a biker gang before the Great War, have become a faction defined by their nomadic lifestyle and their mercenary work in the wasteland. Known for their violent nature, the Khans are not just a group of raiders. They are a symbol of defiance against authority and a refusal to bow to the structures of the NCR or any other power. They have a long history of conflict with the NCR as they reject their ideals and seek to carve out their own existence in the Mojave. The Khans are fiercely independent, and their code is one of survival at all costs, with little regard for the consequences of their actions. Fact 79. The Great Khan's history is both tragic and complex. Originally part of the Fallout, New Vegas storyline, their influence is felt throughout the Mojave Wasteland. Once allied with Caesar's legion, the Khans eventually broke away, seeking their own path. This fractured relationship highlights the internal conflicts that can arise within factions, where differing values and ambitions can lead to both betrayal and new alliances. The Khan's story is one of survival, rebellion, and the desire to maintain their own way of life, even as the wasteland changes around them. They represent the tension between loyalty and independence in a world defined by chaos. Fact 80. The wasteland is a place where power struggles play out not only between large factions, but also within the smallest of communities. One such community is Megaton, a town built around an unexploded atomic bomb in Fallout 3. Megaton's residents live in constant fear of the bomb's potential detonation, yet they also find a way to survive and thrive within this precarious situation. The town's leadership, represented by figures like Lucas Sims, is often caught between the desire for safety and the need for control. Megaton's struggle is a microcosm of the larger conflicts in the wasteland, where survival is always fraught with uncertainty. Fact 81. The wasteland is home to countless mysteries, many of which are hidden in the vast, uncharted territories that stretch far beyond the reach of established factions. One such place is the mysterious glowing sea, located in the heart of the Commonwealth. This area is an irradiated wasteland where the remnants of a nuclear disaster still linger, a place where few dare to venture due to the lethal radiation levels. The glowing sea, once a thriving part of the pre-war world, is now a ghostly reminder of the catastrophic forces that shaped the world into what it is today. Despite its dangers, there are those who venture into the glowing sea in search of answers, hoping to uncover the secrets of the past and the source of its eerie, radiant glow. Fact 82. The story of the Capital Wasteland, the setting of Fallout 3, is one of profound decay and rebuilding. Once home to one of the nation's most powerful governments, Washington, D.C. now lies in ruins, its iconic landmarks turned to rubble. The Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and the Capitol Building, once symbols of unity and democracy, are now mere husks of their former selves. The survivors of the Capitol Wasteland are forced to navigate a world filled with dangerous raiders, mutated creatures, and unstable factions, each one seeking to impose its own vision of the future on a broken world. Despite the devastation, the spirit of Washington, D.C. endures in the survivors' determination to rebuild. Fact 83. The Mojave Wasteland. In Fallout, New Vegas is another region filled with wonder and danger in equal measure. This desert landscape, with its expansive vistas and crumbling remnants of the old world, is home to both the harsh reality of survival and the hope for a brighter future. One of the most striking features of the Mojave is its casino city, New Vegas, where the remnants of pre war capitalism continue to thrive in a strange, post apocalyptic twist. Here, survivors gamble not just for wealth, but for power, with factions like the NCR, Caesar's Legion, and Mr. House's Empire all vying for control of the region's future. Mojave represents the duality of the wasteland, a place where both prosperity and violence are just a roll of the dice away. Fact 84. In the Commonwealth, the Institute is a hidden yet highly advanced faction that represents one of the wasteland's greatest mysteries. Operating beneath the surface of the ruins of Boston, the Institute is responsible for some of the most advanced technological developments in the Fallout universe, including the creation of the synths, artificial beings that resemble humans but possess their own sentience. The Institute's work is a double edged sword. While they have the power to bring about a future of technological enlightenment, their secretive and morally ambiguous actions often put them at odds with other factions, making them a controversial force in the post apocalyptic world. Their technology has the potential to reshape society, but at what cost? Fact 85. The wasteland is filled with places that defy the norms of reality, but few are as strange and unsettling as the Dunwich Building, found in Fallout 3. This dilapidated building is more than just a haunted ruin, it's a center of dark, pre war occult activities. The Dunwich Building is the site of experiments related to the creation of supernatural creatures, and it is rumored to have a connection to a dark force that predates the Great War. The mysteries surrounding the Dunwich Building reflect the Fallout universe's ongoing exploration of how the remnants of humanity's past, both its scientific ambitions and its darker desires, continue to haunt the present. Fact 86. In the wastelands of Appalachia, in Fallout 76, there are places that serve as eerie reminders of humanity's past and the cost of its mistakes. One such place is the Crater, the home of the Free States. This settlement, formed by survivors who were once members of a pre-war militia group, represents a unique blend of patriotism and defiance. They are fiercely independent and have created their own laws and traditions in the aftermath of the Great War. The Crater is an isolated, self-sustaining community, but it faces constant threats from both the mutated creatures that roam the wasteland and the hostile factions seeking to impose their will on the survivors. Despite their isolation, the Free States continue to fight for their freedom in a world that seems intent on erasing the old world's ideals. Fact 87 in the Mojave Fallout. New Vegas introduces us to the Black Mountain, an imposing and desolate feature of the wasteland. Black Mountain, a place where once there was life and purpose, now serves as a haunted fortress for the Nightkin, a group of super mutants who have suffered from the psychological toll of their mutations. Their leader, Tabitha, once a part of the Brotherhood of Steel, now rules over Black Mountain with an iron fist. The Nightkin are among the most tragic figures in the wasteland, twisted by their own experiments and left to wander aimlessly in search of a place to belong. Black Mountain's story is one of loss, survival, and the consequences of unchecked scientific ambition. Fact 88. Vault-Tech's dark experiments, which formed the backbone of many of the vaults, were not limited to the manipulation of human psychology and isolation. Some vaults, like Vault 108, were designed as twisted experiments in cloning. Vault 108 housed a clone of the vault's overseer, a man whose sole purpose was to breed and create an army of clones for purposes unknown. Over time, the clones, known as the regressors, turned violent, reflecting the tragic consequences of Vault-Tech's experiments. Vault 108 is a place where life, once meant to serve the greater good, has become a reflection of corruption, madness, and manipulation. Fact 89. The wasteland is not without its pockets of humanity, where survival takes on a more community driven, cooperative nature. One of the best examples of this can be found in the settlement of Tenpenny Tower in Fallout 3. Tenpenny Tower, an upscale building originally designed for luxury living before the Great War, is now home to a small group of survivors who live in a relatively peaceful, albeit highly segregated society. However, Tenpenny Tower's social structure is built on a foundation of inequality, as the residents refuse to live alongside ghouls, which creates a deep rift between them and the other inhabitants of the wasteland. Fact 90. Among the scattered remnants of humanity, there are those who find ways to survive not through violence or technology, but through trade and commerce. The merchants of the wasteland, from caravan traders to scavengers, provide essential goods to survivors. In Fallout, New Vegas, the character of the Great Khans exemplifies this, as they combine both mercenary work and trade. The wasteland merchants often form a web of connections, providing food, weapons, and information to those who need it most. These merchants serve as the lifeblood of the wasteland's economy, forging ties between distant settlements and ensuring that the survivors are never fully isolated. Fact 91. In the heart of the wasteland, ideals and philosophies shape the very fabric of its societies. The New California Republic, NCR, for example, was built on the hope of restoring the principles of the old world, especially democracy and freedom. However, the NCR's approach is not without flaws. Its reliance on bureaucracy and the constant struggle to maintain control over a vast, fragmented region often leads to corruption and inefficiency. Despite these setbacks, the NCR remains steadfast in its belief that the wasteland can be rebuilt, even if it means sacrificing some of the ideals they hold dear. Their story is a reminder that even in a broken world, the pursuit of justice and equality is a goal worth striving for. Fact 92. Caesar's Legion, in stark contrast to the NCR, embodies the harsh, authoritarian ideal of strength and order. Under the leadership of Caesar, whose vision of the future revolves around the consolidation of power through violence and subjugation, the Legion's philosophy is built on the belief that only the strong should survive. Their brutal methods, including slavery and conquest, are justified by the belief that strength ensures survival in the wasteland. The Legion's ideals revolve around the idea that a unified, disciplined society, no matter how violent, is the only way to bring about order in a world otherwise consumed by chaos. Fact 93. The Brotherhood of Steel, while often seen as a group obsessed with technology, also holds strong philosophical ideals about the preservation of humanity's legacy. They believe that the old world's technology must be protected, not just for its potential to shape the future, but to preserve the knowledge and innovations that came before the Great War. The Brotherhood sees itself as the last line of defense against the misuse of technology, often placing themselves at odds with other factions that wish to harness technology for their own power. Their philosophy, centered on the protection of knowledge and technology, is both a gift and a curse as it isolates them from the wasteland's broader population. Fact 94. The Institute, a faction hidden beneath the Commonwealth, operates on an ideal that human evolution can be accelerated through the use of technology. Their creation of synths, human like robots, is based on the belief that artificial life could replace the failures of humanity. The Institute's members view themselves as the stewards of humanity's future, believing that their advanced knowledge and technology are the key to a better world. However, their methods, including the creation of synths and their experiments on human lives, raise deep ethical questions about the value of life and whether technological progress can ever justify the means used to achieve it. Fact 95. The Railroad, a faction dedicated to the liberation of synths, operates from a deeply humanistic ideal that all beings, regardless of their origins, deserve freedom and autonomy. They believe that the Institute's control over synths is an abomination, forcing these artificial beings into servitude against their will. The Railroad's philosophy is rooted in the belief that all life, whether biological or synthetic, has inherent worth. Their struggle is not just against the Institute, but against the very idea that one group can control another's existence. In their fight for the synth's freedom, the Railroad represents a vision of equality and justice in a world where such ideals are often trampled. Fact 96. The followers of the Apocalypse, unlike many of the Wasteland's more militaristic factions, hold a pacifist, humanitarian philosophy. They believe in using knowledge, medicine, and education as tools to heal the broken world. Their approach to the Wasteland's problems is rooted in compassion and empathy as they seek to help survivors without resorting to violence. The followers aim to rebuild society from the ground up, one person at a time, by offering medical care, education, and guidance. Though their numbers are small and their reach limited, their idealism and dedication to helping others reflect the belief that kindness and knowledge can prevail even in the darkest times. Fact 97. The Children of Adam, a cult that worships the power of radiation, offer a philosophy rooted in the acceptance of death and decay. They believe that the Great War and the subsequent radiation that ravaged the world was a divine event, a cleansing that purged the earth of its impurities. The children of Adam embrace radiation as a force of transformation, a key to spiritual enlightenment. Their belief in the purifying power of radiation makes them a unique presence in the wasteland, where most survivors fear radiation as a harbinger of death. The children's philosophy challenges the very notion of what constitutes life and death, seeing both as interconnected in a cycle of destruction and rebirth. Fact 98. The concept of survival as a philosophical ideal is explored in the story of the Vault Dwellers, particularly in Fallout 3. The vaults were originally designed to protect humanity from the Great War, but as the years passed, the vaults became places of isolation, each with its own dark experiment. The inhabitants of these vaults, including the protagonist of Fallout 3, are forced to confront what survival really means in a world where humanity has been fractured. The Vault Dweller's journey is one of self-discovery as they realize that survival is not just about physical endurance, but about preserving one's humanity in the face of overwhelming odds. Fact 99. The concept of community is central to many factions in the wasteland, especially in the face of adversity. In Fallout, New Vegas, communities like Freeside and the settlements of the Mojave are driven by the need to survive together. These communities have formed around shared ideals, whether it's the pursuit of freedom, the desire to protect one's family, or the need to find peace amidst the chaos. The sense of belonging that these communities provide is one of the few things that keeps the survivors going in a world where trust is scarce. The wasteland may be full of strife, but these communities offer a glimpse of hope. Fact 100. At the heart of the wasteland, one of the most profound philosophical dilemmas is whether humanity can rebuild itself after such a devastating loss. In Fallout 4, the sole survivor's journey is driven by the search for their lost son, Sean, and the desire to protect him from the horrors of the post apocalyptic world. Along the way, the sole survivor encounters various factions, each with its own vision for the future. The story ultimately asks whether it is possible to preserve the ideals of the old world, or whether humanity must forge a new path, shaped by the lessons of the past and the harsh realities of the present. Fact 101. The wasteland, despite its brutal reality, is a land filled with legends and myths that have been passed down through generations. One such myth is the tale of the Lone Wanderer, a mysterious figure who travels the wasteland, helping those in need while simultaneously taking down powerful factions that stand in the way of a better future. This figure is said to have transcended the typical struggles of survival, becoming a symbol of hope for many. The story of the Lone Wanderer embodies the wasteland's yearning for a hero, someone who can make a difference in a world that has lost its way. Fact 102. Another myth that permeates the wasteland is the tale of the mysterious stranger, a figure who appears at the most unexpected of moments. In Fallout 3, this elusive character is known for showing up during the protagonist's most dire situations, helping them out of seemingly impossible encounters. Often dressed in a duster coat and wielding a powerful weapon, the mysterious stranger's motivations remain unclear, yet they become a figure of hope and intrigue. They are the embodiment of the wasteland's desire for a force of good, someone who can arrive when all seems lost and make everything right, if only for a moment. Fact 103. The wasteland is also home to more enigmatic and unsettling figures, like the Mothman of Appalachia. The Mothman is a cryptid that is both feared and revered in the Fallout 76 universe. Described as a tall, humanoid figure with glowing red eyes and large moth-like wings, the Mothman has been linked to a series of mysterious events, from natural disasters to strange disappearances. Whether it is a harbinger of doom or a misunderstood guardian of the wasteland's secrets is left up to the imagination of those who encounter it. The Mothman's myth embodies the uncertainty and eerie beauty of the wasteland's forgotten places. Fact 104. The story of the Vault Dweller, the protagonist of the first Fallout game, is one of the earliest legends of the wasteland. Emerging from Vault 13, the Vault Dweller is tasked with finding a replacement water chip to save their home, but their journey becomes much more. Along the way, the Vault Dweller uncovers the mysteries of the wasteland, confronts dangerous factions, and ultimately becomes a hero to the people of the wasteland. The Vault Dweller's legacy lives on as one of the most iconic figures in Fallout history, a symbol of resilience, survival, and the search for meaning in a broken world. Fact 105. One of the most well known legends in the Wasteland is that of the Chosen One, the protagonist of Fallout 2. This figure, descended from the Vault Dweller, is chosen to save their people by finding the Garden of Eden Creation Kit, GECK. The Chosen One's journey is marked by trials, self discovery, and the exploration of humanity's role in the post apocalyptic world. Their story, like the Vault Dwellers, is a tale of overcoming adversity, but it also explores the moral and philosophical questions of what it means to be chosen and whether fate or free will shapes the future of the wasteland. Fact 106. The Master is one of the most chilling and tragic figures in Fallout lore. The Master, the leader of the super mutants, was once a human, but after exposure to the forced evolutionary virus, FOV, he became a mutated being with godlike ambitions. He sought to unite the wasteland's survivors under a banner of strength, believing that only through forced evolution could humanity survive. The Master's story is one of tragic hubris, as his vision of a unified superhuman race was ultimately shattered by the actions of the Vault Dweller. The Master's legacy is one of broken dreams and the dangers of unchecked ambition. Fact 107. In Fallout, New Vegas, one of the most intriguing figures is Mr. House, the enigmatic and wealthy businessman who controls New Vegas. Though he appears to be a man of the old world, Mr. House's true nature is far more complex. He is not entirely human, having uploaded his consciousness into a computer system in order to survive the Great War. Mr. House's desire for control and power is rooted in his belief that he is the only one capable of restoring order to the Mojave. His cold, calculating nature makes him a key figure in the power struggles of the region, and his vision for the future of New Vegas is one of control, wealth, and the preservation of pre-war ideals. Fact 108. The legend of the Courier, the protagonist of Fallout, New Vegas, is one that revolves around the choices and consequences of one's actions. The Courier is an ordinary person who finds themselves at the center of a power struggle between factions like the NSAR, Caesar's Legion, and Mr. House. Their story is one of personal discovery, where every decision, no matter how small, can alter the course of the wasteland's future. The Courier's legacy is one of independence and agency, reminding the survivors of the wasteland that their choices shape the world around them. Fact 109. The Wasteland Wanderer, a title given to various survivors who have roamed the desolate lands of the Fallout universe, represents the countless individuals who have managed to survive and thrive in a world where most would falter. These wanderers are often solitary figures, seeking meaning and purpose in a world that has lost both. They are the drifters, the scavengers, and the adventurers who travel from place to place, forging their own paths amidst the chaos. The Wasteland Wanderer's story is one of self-reliance and the quest for survival, as they navigate a world that offers little in the way of hope or security. Fact 110. The Pip-Boy is more than just a piece of technology in the Fallout universe. It has become a symbol of the Wasteland's survival spirit. Originally a simple personal information device, the Pip-Boy became essential for survivors, offering everything from map navigation to inventory management. For many, it's the last link to the old world, providing a sense of order in a place where chaos reigns. The Pip-Boy is more than just a tool, it's a companion, a lifeline, and a reminder that even in a broken world, there are still ways to keep track of time, resources, and progress. Fact 111. One of the most enduring aspects of the Fallout universe is its exploration of the remnants of culture from the old world. The pre war society, with its consumerism, technology, and pop culture, remains an integral part of the Wasteland's identity. Music, especially the classic tunes of the 1940s and 1950s, continues to echo throughout the Wasteland. Songs like I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire and Blue Moon are not just background noise, they are symbols of a bygone era, carrying emotional weight for the survivors who hear them. These songs represent the lost innocence and the dreams of a world that was, and through them, the Wasteland's survivors are reminded of the beauty and tragedy of what came before. Fact 112. The culture of the Wasteland is not solely defined by what was lost. It is also shaped by what has survived and evolved in the wake of the Great War. Factions like the NCR and Caesar's Legion bring their own interpretations of pre-war society, using old world ideals to create new forms of governance. The NCR, for instance, bases its society on the ideals of the old US government, with democratic principles, a sense of law, and a belief in the expansion of their territory. However, their implementation of these ideals is often flawed and corrupted as they struggle with bureaucracy and the vast scale of their ambitions. Fact 113. In stark contrast, the Legion under Caesar's rule embraces a harsh totalitarian philosophy that is rooted in the belief that strength, power, and order are the only means of survival in the wasteland. Caesar's Legion rejects the old world's notions of democracy and freedom, instead promoting a brutal, militaristic society where slavery, violence, and fear are the tools used to maintain control. Their methods, which include conquering other settlements and enslaving the inhabitants, are seen by many as the ultimate corruption of what was once meant to be a republic built on freedom and liberty. Caesar's Legion represents that ultimate rejection of the pre-war world's values. Fact 114. The Wasteland is also home to more independent cultures, such as the traders and scavengers who roam the barren landscapes. These groups represent the survivalist ethos that has taken root in the absence of centralized governments and authority. They live by their own code, often making their way by bartering and scavenging for supplies. These individuals may not have the power or influence of large factions like the NCR or the Brotherhood of Steel, but they play a vital role in the Wasteland's economy. Their resilience and ability to adapt to the harsh environment make them an essential part of the Wasteland's fabric. Fact 115. One of the most intriguing cultural aspects of the Wasteland is the creation of new forms of art and expression. In the absence of the old world's cultural institutions, survivors have found new ways to communicate their experiences and emotions. In Fallout, New Vegas, for example, the region is filled with a variety of signs, symbols, and artwork created by the people who live there. Graffiti, murals, and posters can be found throughout the Mojave, telling the stories of the wasteland's inhabitants. These artistic expressions are not just forms of rebellion, but also a means of preserving history, conveying the pain and hope that still exists in the aftermath of the Great War. Fact 116. In the wasteland, the past is never truly gone. The remains of the old world including pre war books, films, and artifacts, continue to have an impact on the survivors of the wasteland. In Fallout 3, the capital wasteland is home to a group of people who have made it their mission to preserve the art of broadcasting and communication through the radio. This group, known as the Galaxy News Radio Team, plays a vital role in spreading information, keeping hope alive, and connecting the scattered communities of the wasteland. They not only provide news, but also broadcast music and old world advertisements, keeping the spirit of the pre war world alive in their transmissions. Fact 117: the legacy of the pre war world also lingers in the wasteland through its architecture and ruins. In Fallout 3, the ruins of Washington, D.C. provide a haunting glimpse into the grandeur of the past. Iconic landmarks like the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and the Capitol Building are now just shells of their former selves, but they still stand as symbols of a world that was once hopeful, powerful, and ambitious. The presence of these ruins serves as a stark reminder of what was lost, but they also inspire the survivors to carry on, to rebuild, and to find meaning in the rubble of the old world. Fact 118: in the Mojave Wasteland, the city of New Vegas is perhaps the clearest reflection of the wasteland's fascination with the old world's culture. New Vegas, built on the foundations of a pre war casino city, represents a fusion of the past and the present. The neon lights of the strip, the luxury casinos, and the glitzy glamour of the old world entertainment scene have been repurposed by the survivors. Yet beneath the surface, New Vegas is a city marked by power struggles and corruption. Despite its problems, New Vegas stands as a testament to the resilience of human ingenuity and the desire to preserve the pleasures and distractions of the pre war world. Fact 119: the wasteland also carries a deep spiritual legacy, with some groups turning to religion to make sense of the devastation around them. The Church of Adam, one such group, worships radiation as a divine force and believes that the Great War was a sacred event that purged the world of its sins. The Church of Adam's beliefs stand in stark contrast to the more traditional religions of the pre war world, reflecting the changes in worldview that have come with the collapse of civilization. For the followers of Adam, radiation is not something to fear, but something to embrace as part of the divine order of the universe. Fact 120: the concept of family is central to many survivors' lives in the wasteland, even as the traditional nuclear family model is long gone. In Fallout New Vegas, the player interacts with the families of the Mojave, including the powerful and influential families like the families of the New Vegas Strip, each with their own struggles, desires, and relationships. In the wasteland, family can mean anything from a group of like minded individuals to biological kin bound by love and blood. These varying interpretations of family reflect the need for human connection and support in a world where survival often comes at the cost of personal sacrifice. Fact 121: in the wasteland, the struggle for control over territory is constant, and no place epitomizes this more than the Mojave. The region, largely barren and hostile, is home to various factions vying for dominance, including the New California Republic, NCR, and Caesar's Legion. The NCR seeks to bring stability and democracy, while Caesar's Legion aims to impose a brutal, authoritarian regime. Both factions, despite their vastly different ideologies, fight for control of key locations like the Hoover Dam, a resource crucial to the survival of their respective armies. The Mojave serves as the battleground for these factions, with the courier caught in the middle, forced to choose which vision for the future will shape the wasteland's destiny. Fact 122. The wasteland's power struggles aren't limited to military conflict alone. Economics plays a critical role, particularly in places like New Vegas. The city is built on the remnants of the old world capitalist system, with the Strip serving as a thriving epicenter of gambling, trade, and wealth. The powerful factions, from Mr. House's technocratic rule to the NCR's democratic ambitions, each seek to control the wealth that flows through New Vegas. The city itself represents a battle for resources where trade routes, power, and control over wealth shape the allegiances of the wasteland's inhabitants. This economic struggle highlights how, even in the midst of a nuclear wasteland, the thirst for wealth and power remains a driving force in human behavior. Fact 123. Another significant area of conflict in the wasteland is the question of identity, particularly in relation to the mutated inhabitants of the world. The supermutants, created through the use of the forced evolutionary virus, FEV, represent a society fractured by their transformation. Though they retain some memories of their past lives, they struggle with their new identities. Many supermutants reject the idea of their former human selves and see their transformation as a means of evolution, while others, like the Master, view themselves as the next stage in human development. Their identity crisis is a poignant exploration of how the line between human and monster can blur in a world defined by radiation and mutation. Fact 124. The creation of the synths by the Institute has led to a similar struggle for identity, albeit one rooted in artificial life. The synths, designed to be indistinguishable from humans, are trapped between their programming and their developing sense of self. While many synths are created to serve the whims of their creators, some escape, seeking autonomy and freedom from the Institute's control. The struggle for identity among synths is one of the most poignant themes in Fallout 4, as they question their right to exist as individuals and their place in a world that views them as nothing more than tools or machines. Their plight serves as a philosophical challenge to the very nature of life, autonomy, and what it means to be human. Fact 125. The Brotherhood of Steel, a faction that values the preservation and control of technology, represents another form of power struggle in the wasteland. Their obsession with technology is rooted in the belief that humanity must be saved through its mastery of the old world's innovations. However, this desire for control has led the Brotherhood into conflict with many other factions. They often believe that technology is too dangerous for the masses, so they hoard it, seeing themselves as the only ones capable of wielding it responsibly. Their strict code of conduct and hierarchical structure creates tension within their ranks, as newer generations question whether their isolationist approach to technology truly benefits the future of the wasteland. Fact 126. The Enclave, a faction that rises from the ashes of the U.S. government, takes the idea of control to an extreme level. The Enclave believes they are the last remnants of true America, and they are determined to restore the old world's power and structure. They see themselves as the rightful rulers of the wasteland, using their advanced technology and military might to impose their vision of the future. The Enclave's arrogance and sense of superiority lead them to view all other survivors as unworthy, creating a chilling parallel to pre war notions of nationalism and elitism. Their unrelenting desire to purify the world demonstrates the dangers of unchecked power and the ideological belief in the supremacy of one group over another. Fact 127. The idea of family is central to many survivors' identities in the wasteland, though it takes on different forms depending on the faction or community. In Fallout 4, the sole survivor's journey is motivated by the need to find their son, Sean, and protect him from the horrors of the post apocalyptic world. The family unit is not just a biological bond, but a symbol of the hope for the future. The sole survivor's search for their son serves as a personal reflection of the broader theme of survival, where families, whether traditional or chosen, offer stability and strength in a world that is constantly changing. Family in the wasteland is what keeps people grounded. Fact 128. The wasteland is not without its moments of beauty, especially when survivors find ways to preserve and celebrate the Lost World's culture. In the Mojave, for instance, the presence of the Atomic Wrangler Casino represents an attempt to revive pre war leisure and entertainment. People gather to gamble, play games, and escape the hardships of their daily lives. These moments of escapism, though fleeting, allow the survivors to maintain a connection to the old world's sense of joy and amusement. The casino stands as a monument to how, even in the face of immense destruction, people continue to seek pleasure and solace in whatever remnants of culture they can hold on to. Fact 129. One of the most enduring themes of the wasteland is the ability of the human spirit to adapt and thrive even in the harshest conditions. Whether it's the residents of Megaton who rebuild their homes around an unexploded bomb, or the traders and scavengers who roam the barren deserts in search of valuable goods, the survivors of the wasteland have learned to adapt. This resilience is reflected in the countless stories of survival, from small settlements to large factions. The wasteland's inhabitants often have no choice but to adapt to their environment, making every small victory a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Fact 130. At the heart of the wasteland's many struggles is the search for meaning. For many survivors, the wasteland represents the ultimate test of survival, but it also offers opportunities for personal growth and redemption. In Fallout, New Vegas, the courier's journey is one of self discovery as they navigate a complex world of factions and power struggles. The courier's choices throughout the game determine not only the fate of New Vegas, but also their own personal journey. The search for meaning in a world that seems devoid of hope is a central theme in Fallout, reflecting humanity's eternal quest to find purpose, even in the most chaotic of times. Fact 131. One of the most enduring and unsettling mysteries in the Fallout universe is the true origin of the supermutants. The Forced Evolutionary Virus, FEV, was initially designed as a tool for military enhancement, creating super soldiers to be used in the event of global conflict. However, the virus has a much more sinister legacy. The mutated forms of humanity, from the towering super mutants to the intelligent and tragic nightkin, are all a result of this virus. Yet the true motives behind its widespread use remain shrouded in secrecy. Vault Tech's experiments, intended to test human resilience, became the very catalyst for the creation of monstrous creatures whose existence serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of playing God with nature's design. Fact 132. In Fallout 3, the Capital Wasteland presents a fascinating mystery that lies within the ruins of the National Archives building. The archives hold remnants of the old world's government, historical documents, treaties, and books, long forgotten by the survivors of the Great War. But more importantly, they house a key to understanding the political systems that led to the downfall of the world. The National Archives are a symbol of the lost power structures, and even in the chaos of the wasteland, they serve as a reminder that history is not just a collection of events, but the foundation of what civilizations are built upon and what they can crumble to. Fact 133. In Fallout 4, one of the most intriguing locations is the mystery of the Institute, a hidden faction with their own vision of humanity's future. Operating in secret beneath the Commonwealth, the Institute is responsible for the creation of the synths, artificial beings designed to resemble humans in nearly every way. The Institute's technology is far beyond what other factions possess, and its leaders are determined to transform humanity using their advancements. However, their moral compass remains ambiguous. Are they seeking to improve society, or are they replacing humanity altogether? The Institute's work raises critical questions about identity, the nature of life, and the ethics of scientific experimentation. Fact 134. One of the most iconic and mysterious locations in the wasteland is the vaults. These underground shelters were originally created by Vault Tech to protect humanity from the Great War's nuclear fallout. However, Vault Tech had other, more sinister purposes in mind. The vaults were used for a series of horrific social experiments where inhabitants were subjected to cruel tests of human nature. Some vaults, like Vault 111, left their occupants frozen in stasis for hundreds of years, while others introduced violence, a social isolation, or complete destruction as part of their experiments. The vaults stand as chilling reminders of human cruelty and the lengths to which governments will go in the name of science and control. Fact 135. The wasteland is full of hidden artifacts and ancient technology, much of it derived from the pre-war world's obsession with energy and weaponry. Among the most sought-after relics is the G-Itseke, the Garden of Eden creation kit, a device capable of transforming the land, making it fertile and habitable again. Throughout the Fallout series, the search for the G-Itseke represents both hope and desperation as it promises to restore life and civilization. However, the G-Itseke's location remains a closely guarded secret, and those who seek it often find that its power comes at a great cost, forcing survivors to grapple with whether humanity truly deserves a second chance. Fact 136. The Securitron, a piece of pre-war military technology, is another symbol of the old world's obsession with power and control. These advanced robots, originally designed for law enforcement and military applications, have been reprogrammed and repurposed in the post-apocalyptic world. In Fallout New Vegas, Mr. House's Securitrons maintain order on the Strip, enforcing his will with deadly precision. The Securitron's role in New Vegas illustrates the complexities of technology in the wasteland. While they are tools of oppression, they are also reminders of a society that once thrived on law and order. Their very existence speaks to humanity's deep reliance on technology for control, even in a world where survival is far from guaranteed. Fact 137. One of the most profound mysteries in the Fallout universe is the existence of the giant Deathclaws. These terrifying creatures, found primarily in the Mojave Wasteland, are much larger and more aggressive than regular deathclaws. They serve as an enigmatic symbol of the mutated horrors that the Great War unleashed upon the world. However, the true origin of these supersized deathclaws is unknown. Some believe they were part of pre war military experiments, while others speculate that they are an extreme byproduct of radiation. Their sheer power and aggression make them some of the most feared creatures in the wasteland, and encountering one is often a death sentence. Fact 138. In Fallout 3, the story of the lone wanderer revolves around the quest to find their father, James. James is a brilliant scientist who sought to use the technology at his disposal to purify the wasteland's water supply. His work, particularly with the purification project, known as the Project Purity, holds the promise of restoring clean water to the survivors of the capital wasteland. However, the road to completing the project is fraught with danger, as factions vie for control of the technology. James's motivations and actions serve as a reminder of the wasteland's desperate need for leadership and the price that must be paid for attempting to restore some semblance of the world that once was. Fact 139. The mysterious stranger is a figure in the Fallout universe who appears when least expected, often in the most dangerous situations. This elusive figure, often seen in combat scenarios, has the uncanny ability to intervene at just the right moment, turning the tide in the protagonist's favor. Though little is known about their origins, the mysterious stranger is often seen as a symbol of hope and divine intervention. Their appearances, brief and enigmatic, leave survivors to wonder if they are a hero, a mirage, or something more, perhaps a manifestation of the wasteland's deep yearning for a savior. Fact 140. Finally, the wasteland's ultimate enigma lies within the Vault 87 and its twisted legacy. Known for housing some of the most terrifying creatures in the wasteland, Vault 87 became the birthplace of the super mutants after the Institute's exposure to FIV. Vault 87's experiments, intended to create a perfect soldier, instead unleashed horrors that would forever alter the landscape of the wasteland. The super mutants that emerged from the vault are some of the most dangerous beings to walk the wasteland, with their sheer physical power and brutal tactics. Vault 87's dark secrets continue to haunt the survivors who dare to venture near its depths. Thank you for drifting with me tonight through the many layers of the wasteland's history, mysteries, and the enduring spirit of its survivors. May your thoughts rest in the quiet moments of reflection. May your breathing remain steady, and may you find peace in the quiet echoes of a world that once was, yet still lingers in the hearts of those who remain. Good night.